let's take a look at how to create scatter plots and linear regression on your TI83 or TI84 calculators. Now, first off, a scatter plot, this first piece that we're going to be looking at, is basically just a visualization of data. You can see a couple different scatter plots here. Notice on this one, it kind of looks like as we move to the right, all of our dots are moving upwards. For this one, as we move to the right, all of our dots are moving downwards. On this one, as we move to the right, they seem to be kind of swooping upwards. So not only are they moving up and to the right, but they're getting up and to the right even faster. So the actual dots are just your scatter plots. Same over here would be your red dots. On these three, that red line in the back, that is your regression line. That is also called the best fit line. It takes all of the data from your scatter plot and kind of fits it into an equation that would make one line. Notice on this one, it makes an upside down parabola. So this is like a quadratic regression. We're going to look at linear regression, so these ones where it just makes a straight line. So the example we're going to look at says this year the Wolverine football team scored the following number of points in 10 games. So first we're going to make a scatter plot of our 10 different data points found here. Then we're going to find the least squares line, or the regression line, and I'm going to show you how to do that on your calculator. So we're going to begin by creating lists of x and y values. So if I take out my calculator here, oops, it's already kind of up. I'm going to click Stat first and foremost, and I'm going to go to Edit. Click Enter. Now mine look like they're already in here, so I'm going to show you how to input just this one. You will probably start over here in list 1, so you're going to make sure that you type in all of your pieces. Mine are already typed in there, 1 through 10. So once I get to here for list 2, so you can just use your arrow keys to cycle through. But in list 2, I need to put in all of these data points. So 28 points. And then click Enter. 15 points. Click Enter. 25 points. Click Enter. And so on. Once I have all of these put together, I will have my 2 created lists so that I can use for the rest of my pieces here. I can do it while I'm making my scatter plot. Which one am I on now? 47. And my linear regression line. But I need to make sure both lists are created. So list 1, list 2, and make sure they match up. So 10 goes with 32, 9 goes with 47, and so on. Just like this data set here. Once my 2 lists are created, I can just quit, second and quit to get back to the home screen. Now I need to make sure that I turn my plots on. So from here, I'm going to hit my second button, and here where it says Stat Plot, now I can see all of my plots. If I want, I can scroll down and just turn all of the plots on or all of them off. We're going to focus right now just on the first one. So go to plot number 1, hit Enter, make sure that is clicked to on. You can click it off this way, move it back on this way. We also want to make sure the type is set to this scatter plot. So I'm going to show you from here. Make sure that it is onto this scatter plot. These other ones are different types of plots that you can show, like line graphs, histograms, box and whisker plots. We're just going to look at this scatter plot as well. Make sure your X list and Y list are set as list 1 and list 2. Move this over a little bit so you can see it. And make sure the mark is the one that you want to have. I'm going to leave mine as this open squared mark and call it good. So our plot 1 is all good. The next step was we're just going to simply graph. So even from here, if you want, you can hit second quit if you want, or we're just going to hit graph. Now, unfortunately, ours are going to go a little bit off the screen. So we need to hit zoom, scroll down to zoom stat, that's the 9th one, and hit enter. It'll zoom to all of our data points and make sure that we can see everything in there. This is our scatter plot then. Now that we have the scatter plot, we need to calculate our regression line. To calculate this regression line, we go back to Stat. Now we need to move over to Calculate and scroll down to Linear Regression. I'm going to open that second piece again so we can see everything. Make sure you are on number 4, linear regression. Hit enter on that. Make sure your X list is still list 1, Y list is list 2. Enter through that and calculate. Notice it gives you y equals mx plus b, which they actually say ax plus b. It gives you your a value, it gives you your b value. Make sure that you have those written down. So be sure the x and the y list are correct. Hit calculate. Now we know our a and our b value. Write those down because that'll be your line essentially. Those are the pieces for your equation. Now we need to go into the y equals. So this button over here. If you have any other equations added in there, go ahead and clear those out. Otherwise, we're going to type it into this first one. Again, we saw that it was 2.18 repeating, so I'm just going to go round it to 2.18. Instead of typing in x, I'm going to use this button. This will give me my variable x. So 2.18 times x plus the b value, which again, remember we wrote down was 18.6. So now we have that equation. I'm going to hit enter. That equation is set into our calculator. It saved it. We're going to hit graph. Now we can see here was our scatter plot. This is the line of best fit was just drawn over the top of it. You can see that it even goes right through the middle of one of our points. So that was how to make our scatter plot and draw on the line of best fit. Now we're going to use that regression line to estimate. So again, here was that equation. If we want to figure out on the 15th game how well we did, we just plug in 15 for that x value. So I'm going to bring up my calculator again, go back to the home screen. I'm just going to go 2.18 times my value for x, which we'll say is 15, plus 18.6. And we get that it was 51.3. So on the 15th game, they should have scored 51.3 points. And that is how you use your TI83 or 84 for regression and scatter plots.